Yeah, I just continue with ORCID and a bit about the Danish ORCID Consortium. As I said, we've been working with ORCID a bit longer than Elsevier. Then the Danish ORCID Consortium is one of the first consortia. We started in 2014 with the consortium. So we had a 10-year anniversary last year. I will say a bit about that. And then working with ORCID integrations and ORCID in research assessment. I'm the lead of the Danish ORCID Consortium, and I work at Aalborg University with research analytics in the Chris office there, the Pure office. It's a bit unusual that a university is lead of a consortium in many countries. It's an infrastructure provider. In South Africa, it's Tenet, I think it's called. In Sweden, it's Sunet. But in Denmark, it's a university. And I think it's because all universities use Pure and the university colleges, they use Pure. So, well, Pure is a very large content provider for ORCID, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's a university in Denmark. Well, what do we do in a consortium? We exchange information between ORCID and the member organizations. Instead of ORCID having to communicate with 1,400 members, then they have to communicate with 28 consortia instead. And we also have first level ORCID support, and we also try to support new members. We don't have that many. Almost all the universities are now members, the university colleges. We try to work with small publishers, for instance, and other. Yeah. In 2013, we had a pilot project to look at what is ORCID, and then quite quickly we decided to become a member and form a consortium. Now we are 11 members. Remember, Denmark is a small country, so we only have 8 universities. But in the consortium, there are 7 universities, 2 hospitals and university colleges, architect and design schools, and a small publisher. All these organizations use Pure. We also have some organizations using open journal systems, this PKP, and I believe the publisher uses ScholarOne, some publishing system. So 3, I think in other countries, larger countries, there are a lot of systems to work with, but in Denmark it's only a few, so that's easier. It makes my job easier. Yeah, the 10th anniversary, we made a silent movie. It's on the link there. Maybe you can click from the Civent app to see the fabulous movie. What we wanted to do was just to create some noise on social media. As I said, it's quite easy to make the ORCID, and I think at least in Denmark nowadays, it's not something you have to persuade the researchers to use the ORCID. They just have to remember to use it. So we thought we should make some noise with tattoos, cakes, and a lot of other things. The one with the married couple is one of the posters we used 10 years ago to show what is ORCID. That when you marry, you get a new name, or you change your gender or your name or anything, then ORCID stays with you all the way. ORCID integrations. yeah, as I said, these are the three systems, so quite easy for us. And as we saw in the previous talk here, that the Pure integration is very well established and has been there for quite a long time. A few focal points when you work with the Pure-ORCID integration. There's a mapping file. I think that's maybe, I don't know, Malene, she's gone, but I think it's still important to work with a mapping file. If you make new publication types in your Pure system, then it should be aligned with what you have in ORCID. And you should also be aware of what you export to ORCID. Maybe you don't want unpublished material in your ORCID record as a researcher. And then I think there still is an issue about import quality, what you get from ORCID to Pure. For a long time, you didn't have all the authors. I think that has improved. Might still be some issues. Yeah. Well, as Malene also said in the previous talk, that ORCID has quite a prominent position in the Pure portal. This is our profile page for a researcher at our portal, and ORCID is there in the center. And also backend, Pure, well, easy to find and easy to work with. So I would say this is 10 years of bridge building, and it helped us recognize the ecosystem of online scholarly communication. And I think what I like about it is there are sometimes religious wars between Web of Science, Scopus, others, but ORCID is, well, across the landscape, and that's very nice. This is the recommendations. I said that in the previous also, but you should, as a researcher at Aalborg University, you should have all your content in the Pure system. It's even an obligation. The Vice Chancellor said that if it's not in Pure, it's not research from Aalborg University, so you should put all your stuff there if you want it recognized. And then, of course, export it to ORCID to have it in two profiles. Two profiles are better than one. And then recognize the use of ORCID in the other systems, Web of Science, Scopus, and Google Scholar. And then in the beginning, well, just to recognize the online scholarly communication. Now, also with AI, I think the persistent identifiers like ORCID and DOI, they have become, I think so, trust markers to help navigate in responses from generative AI, for instance. Yeah, I think I will skip that one. And last thing is that at Aalborg University, we built a research and innovation indicator, and also ORCID plays a role in that one. Openness, visibility, and collaboration are important issues in open science, and open science is part of this indicator. And so what we say is that if you want one small measurement around openness is to look at ORCID use at the university or at the department level where this indicator is used. We also have ORCID in the open access policy at Aalborg University. It's recommended that you use ORCID, and that's because we recognize that ORCID plays a role in open science, as I said before, around integrity and quality. So, some conclusions. I think there's a smooth working integration between Pure and ORCID, and all along the 10 years I've seen, there's also been very good responses from ORCID and also from Pure to help improve the integration and the working of this. Then you should focus on the mapping and export selection. Still, there might be issues around import and export. And then this is a blog post from ORCID telling that we have quite a substantial number of items in the ORCID register, 1.5 million data entries, and that comes from the Pure integration, that it has been working smooth for quite a lot of years. So. Thank you.